All right, welcome to another deep dive. This time, we're cracking open the Hatha Yoga Pradipika. We're going to pull out some of those fascinating, maybe even useful pieces of this classic yoga text. It's like our treasure map for this episode. It's going to guide us through all those twists and turns of Hatha Yoga. For anyone just tuning in, Hatha Yoga focuses on physical practices, to get you ready for those higher kind of spiritual goals. But before we jump into all that, let's rewind a bit. Back to ancient India, where yoga was really starting to take shape. We're talking about folks like Gorakhnath and Svatmarama. They played a huge role in making Hatha Yoga a more structured system. And their wisdom, well, it's all there in the Pradipika. It's like this cornerstone for other yogic paths, like think Tantra or Kundalini Yoga. It's pretty amazing how all these systems connect with Hatha Yoga as this solid base. So what exactly does the Pradipika teach? It's not just about like bending yourself into a pretzel. It's about treating your body like a temple. Cleansing, purifying, making it ready for spiritual growth. For instance, the Pradipika talks about these 6 cleansing techniques.
They're called Shatkarma. One that really stood out to me, Sutra Neti. You basically thread a string through your nose and out your mouth. That sounds kind of crazy, right? But the idea was to clear those nasal passages and even stimulate certain energy points. Can you imagine the sensation and the dedication that must have taken to master that? Okay, moving on from cleansing, let's get to the core of Hatha Yoga. Pranayama. It's all about controlling your breath, which is your life force energy, your prana. The Pradipika highlights a bunch of techniques, each with its own benefits. Like take Nadi Shodhana, for example. It's alternate nostril breathing. I've actually tried this one. It's amazing how quickly it can calm your nerves. It's almost like hitting a reset button on your stress. Then there's Suryapeta. This one focuses on your right nostril, and it's thought to energize your whole body. And we can't forget Shitali, the cooling breath, perfect for calming the mind and like cooling down. But there's this one technique that always gets me, Pastrika, also known as the bellows breath. You basically do these rapid inhales and exhales. It's to really stoke your inner fire. Like imagine feeling all that energy with each breath. The Pradipika suggests it can invigorate both your physical and energetic body, impacting your nervous system and, well, your overall well-being. Now let's dive into Mudras and Bandhas. These are subtle internal locks that help you control and direct your prana. Think of them as like hidden tools for refining your practice and tapping into deeper energy levels. For example, the Pradipika describes Kichari Mudra, where you extend your tongue back to stimulate specific energy points in the roof of your mouth. This was believed to unlock higher states of consciousness, which shows us that the Pradipika isn't just about physical stuff. It's also about spiritual exploration. And along with Mudras, we've got Bandhas, like Mahabandha. This one combines 3 different locks in your lower body. It's described as a way to boost vitality and maybe even slow down aging. The Pradipika is full of these intriguing links between physical practices and their deeper effects on your body and mind, effects that are often subtle but powerful. And that leads us to the ultimate goal of Hatha Yoga, samadhi. The Pradipika describes this as a state of profound absorption, where you go beyond your everyday mind and experience a deep sense of unity and bliss. It outlines different stages of samadhi, like a journey from the physical world to these subtle realms of energy and awareness, almost like climbing a ladder to higher and higher states of consciousness and driving this ascent. Kundalini Shakti, this potent energy that supposedly hangs out at the base of your spine. All those practices, from cleansing to pranayama to mudras and bandhas, they're designed to awaken this Kundalini energy and guide it upwards through these subtle channels, igniting your inner potential. But hold up, before we get carried away with all this mystical energy talk, the Pradipika stresses something really important. Having a qualified teacher to guide you through these powerful practices. It's packed with anecdotes about how crucial the guru-disciple relationship is in traditional yoga. The guru isn't just teaching you moves, they're sharing their wisdom, guiding you along a path they've already traveled. They're like a mirror, reflecting your potential and pushing you to go further, beyond what you think you're capable of. It's a bond built on trust, respect, and a shared desire for spiritual growth. Now, the Pradipika doesn't just stop at physical and energetic practices. It even gets into diet, recommending a sattvic diet to support your spiritual journey. We're talking fresh fruits, veggies, whole grains, foods believed to bring lightness, clarity, and peace. It also mentions foods to avoid, like meat and processed stuff. Those are seen as creating heaviness and kind of blocking your spiritual progress. What I found really interesting is this holistic approach. It recognizes that everything you do affects your spiritual journey. What you eat, how you breathe, it all matters. It's about creating this inner harmony that nurtures your growth. We've covered a lot of ground, haven't we? Cleansing techniques, breath work, the power of mudras and bandhas, the role of the guru, even what you eat.
But this is just the beginning of our deep dive into the Hatha Yoga Pradipika. Welcome back to the deep dive. We're getting into the physical postures now, those asanas. The Pradipika actually describes a whole bunch of them, but it really zeroes in on 4. Like these are the VIPs: Mayurasana, Shavasana, Siddhasana, and Padmasana. Each one works with your energy in its own way, getting you ready for the deeper stuff.
Like, your pranayama and meditation. So first up, we've got Mayurasana, the peacock pose. Picture this: you're balancing on your forearms, your body's parallel to the ground, like a peacock showing off its feathers. It takes strength, focus, and probably a few wobbles while you're learning. But the Pradipika says that if you can nail Mayurasana, ostia, it's good for your digestion. Strengthens that core. It might even give your thyroid a little boost. It's a pretty powerful example of how Hatha Yoga uses physical strength to build mental focus and, improve your overall well-being. Now, on the flip side, we've got Shavasana, the corpse pose. This one's all about lying still, completely relaxed. Sounds easy, right? But consciously letting go of all that tension, calming the mind. It can be tougher than it seems. The Pradipika actually highlights Shavasana as this key practice for integrating the benefits of other asanas. It's like letting your body and mind soak it all in, all those deeper effects of your practice. Next, we've got Siddhasana, the depths pose. So you're sitting cross-legged, spine nice and straight, breath flowing smoothly. This pose might seem simple,
But it's considered like the prime posture for meditation. The Pradipika says that if you hold Siddhasana with focus and intention, it can purify those energy channels and help you reach those deep states of stillness. It's about cultivating that inner peace and stability. And last but not least, we have Padmasana, the classic lotus pose, legs crossed, feet resting on those opposite thighs. This one needs a good amount of flexibility in the hips and ankles. But the Pradipika claims that mastering Padmasana, it can stabilize your energy, sharpen your focus, and eventually it can even help you awaken that Kundalini Shakti and reach samadhi. The Pradipika also talks about other cool postures like Simhasana, the lion pose, where you stick your tongue out and roar. I know, it sounds kind of funny, but it's supposed to release tension in your face and throat. It might even stimulate your thyroid. And then there's Padrasana, the gracious pose, a seated posture that's thought to calm the mind and improve flexibility in your hips and knees. The cool thing is, each posture, Padhastas, from the easy ones to the more challenging ones, to BPS, they're designed to work with your energy in a very specific way. It's like your body's language, allowing you to communicate with that inner world and build up more balance, strength, and flexibility, both physically and energetically. Now, the Pradipika doesn't just throw you into these poses randomly. There's a sequence. You build from simpler to more complex asanas. It's like a roadmap for your practice, making sure you prepare your body and mind step by step, gradually increasing what you're capable of. That emphasis on gradual progress really speaks to me. It's not about being perfect right away. It's about being consistent, having discipline, and being willing to explore your limits with patience and, being kind to yourself. Now, this is where things get really interesting. The Pradipika suggests that with dedicated practice, you might start feeling some serious benefits within a year. More energy, better digestion, less stress. You might even feel more aware. And all that within a year of consistent practice. Of course, we got to be realistic here. Approach these ancient practices with a bit of skepticism and a good sense of humor. Listen to your body, find what works for you, and enjoy the journey of exploring and discovering yourself. Speaking of self-discovery, let's talk about one of the coolest parts of the Pradipika, its take on energy channels and chakras. The text talks about this intricate network of energy channels, they're called nadis, and they run throughout your body, like pathways for your prana, your life force energy. It's pretty amazing how modern science is starting to catch up and acknowledge that these energy pathways might actually exist. We're not just physical beings, right? We're also these complex energetic beings. And along these nadis, you've got energy centers. They're called chakras. The Pradipika focuses on 7 main chakras. Each one is associated with certain physical, mental, and emotional qualities. Think of them like vital organs, but for your energy body. Each one regulating a specific part of you. For example, at the base of your spine, you've got Muladhara chakra. That's your root chakra. It's all about grounding, security, stability. And as we move up, we hit Svadhisthana chakra, the sacral chakra. This one governs creativity, emotions, sensuality. Then we got Manipura chakra, the solar plexus chakra. This is the seat of your personal power, willpower, transformation. Right in the heart center, we find Anahata chakra, associated with love, compassion, connection. Up to the throat, we've got Vishuddhi chakra, the throat chakra. It's all about communication, self-expression, authenticity. Between your eyebrows lies Ajna chakra, the third eye chakra. This one's about intuition, wisdom, spiritual vision. And finally, at the crown of your head, we've got Sahasrara chakra, the crown chakra, associated with enlightenment, transcendence, unity consciousness. The fascinating part is how the Pradipika's practices show Ivayo, all those asanas, pranayama, mudras, bandhas, they're all designed to purify and activate these chakras, allowing your prana to flow freely through your energy body. It's like fine-tuning an instrument, bringing each chakra into harmony to create this beautiful symphony of energy and awareness. And here's where it gets really cool. The Pradipika suggests that by working with these chakras, Itai, you can actually influence your physical, mental, and emotional well-being. Like if you're feeling ungrounded or anxious, Yira, you could focus on practices that balance your Muladhara chakra. Struggling with creativity or emotional blocks, maybe work with your Swadhisthana chakra. It's a holistic approach to healing and transformation, recognizing that your physical body, energy body, and mind are all connected. And that interconnectedness, that's where the true power of the Pradipika lies. A power that can lead to those profound states of samadhi and self-realization. But let's be real, this is a journey. It takes patience, discipline, and the guidance of a qualified teacher. It's not about instant enlightenment. It's about starting this journey of self-discovery, a journey that unfolds gradually, revealing its secrets as you go along. Now, before we wrap up part 2, gotta acknowledge that the Pradipika is an ancient text. Some of its teachings might seem a little out there for us modern folks. It's important to approach these practices with a critical eye, take what resonates with you, leave what doesn't. What matters most is finding a practice that supports you, helps you connect with your inner wisdom, and brings some joy and meaning into your life. So are you ready for the final part of our deep dive into the Hatha Yoga Pradipika? We're going even deeper, exploring those more esoteric teachings, like techniques for awakening, that Kundalini Shakti, and reaching those profound states of samadhi. Welcome back to the deep dive. We're in the final stretch of our exploration of the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, and you know what? We're about to get into some of the more, shall we say, interesting practices this ancient text describes. Remember those cleansing techniques, the Shatkarmas? We touched on them earlier. Well, buckle up, because the Pradipika goes beyond sutra neti and nasal cleansing. It describes practices like, get this, Vastradhati, involves swallowing a cloth and then carefully pulling it back out. Sounds pretty intense, right? But the traditional belief was that it cleansed the esophagus and it helped with digestion. Then there's Dantadhati. This one's all about cleaning your teeth, but with a twig from a specific tree. It's like ancient ritualistic toothbrushing. The Pradipika claims it can purify your mouth, make your sense of taste better, and even prevent cavities. And if those got your attention, wait for this one. Hiradhati. Now, this isn't about physically scrubbing your heart. It's about cleansing the heart center energetically, if you will. It involves a specific breathing technique that's supposed to remove impurities from this energetic space. Almost like an emotional detox, you know? It's a really cool example of how the Pradipika connects the physical and energetic realms, recognizing how they're all intertwined. And then there's Mula Shodhana. This one focuses on cleansing the rectum using a specific finger technique. I know, some of these techniques might sound a little out there, but the Pradipika highlights how important this practice is for overall health and well-being, emphasizing that all the systems in your body are connected. Now, these cleansing techniques might seem a bit extreme to us modern folks, but they show just how much the Pradipika emphasizes purity, preparing your body to be this vessel for spiritual growth. And speaking of spiritual growth, let's circle back to that powerful energy, Kundalini Shakti. Remember, it's believed to be coiled up at the base of your spine, dormant, waiting to be awakened. The Pradipika is full of techniques designed to do just that, awaken this energy and guide it upwards toward enlightenment. One technique that really stands out is Shakti Chalana Mudra. It combines specific movements, visualizations, and even holding your breath to activate Kundalini and move it through the Sushumna Nadi. That's the central energy channel. The Pradipika stresses the importance of having the right guidance and preparation before you try such an advanced practice. But the rewards, they're supposed to be incredible. Awakening Kundalini is thought to lead to amazing states of bliss, a wider awareness, and maybe even access to, well, mystical powers. But remember, the big goal of Hatha Yoga, according to the Pradipika, is samadhi. We talked about it before, but let's dig a little deeper. The Pradipika actually describes different stages of samadhi, each one leading to a deeper level of absorption, of transcendence. One stage that's particularly fascinating is Unmani Avastha. Imagine your mind becoming completely still, free from all those thoughts and distractions constantly buzzing around. The Pradipika describes it as a state of deep peace and emptiness, where your sense of self just dissolves. It's like tapping into pure awareness, no longer bound by those limitations of your thoughts and emotions. And beyond Unmani Avastha, well, that's where the ultimate goal lies, Sahaja Avastha.
This is a state of just being, effortlessly, where you're totally in sync with the natural flow of life.
The Pradipika describes it as this state of pure joy and liberation, where you're free from all those attachments and desires that hold you back. It's a state of enlightenment, where you finally realize your true nature as, well, pure consciousness. Now, reaching these states, it's not exactly a cakewalk. The Pradipika makes it very clear that it takes years of dedicated practice, unwavering discipline, and of course the guidance of a qualified guru. But the journey itself, it's supposed to be profoundly transformative. As you move along the path of Hatha Yoga, you'll experience shifts in your awareness, your energy, your whole sense of well-being. You'll start to see the world differently, experience life with more clarity, more purpose. And that's the true gift of the Hatha Yoga Pradipika. It's not just a bunch of techniques. It's a pathway to self-realization. So as we wrap up our deep dive into Hatha Yoga Pradipika, we're left with a sense of wonder, of possibility. This ancient text gives us a glimpse of the potential we all have within.
It reminds us that through dedicated practice, self-discipline, and the right guidance, we can awaken to who we truly are and experience those incredible states of transformation and liberation. Whether you're a seasoned yogi or just curious about the ancient wisdom of Hatha Yoga, the Pradipika invites you on a journey of self-discovery. Explore the practices, find what speaks to you, and let the wisdom of this text guide you on your own unique path towards peace, well-being, and self-realization. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep the deep dive in your ears.